Coming up, I'm flying Virgin Atlantic from London to New York in their economy cabin. What? Yes, that's right. I'm flying economy from London to New York. Let's find out what it's like in the back. Welcome to the channel. I'm Anthony, and with over 20 years of business class flying and more than 1 million miles in the air, I've seen just about everything at 35,000 feet.
Cabin crew doors to automatic cross-check.
Here at Doors to Automatic, I bring you in-depth, honest reviews of premium services from airlines around the globe. Love travel, aviation, or just chasing the thrill of the skies? Hit that subscribe button and come along for the ride. My journey started at London Heathrow Terminal 3. Virgin Atlantic shared check-in zone A with partner airline Delta. There were lots of self-check-in kiosks and then a bag drop. The baggage allowance was one item of checked luggage weighing up to 23 kilos or 50 pounds, with maximum dimensions of 90 centimetres by 75 by 43. From check-in, you went up an escalator to security. The security queues were not too long, and I was through airside in a couple of minutes. After security, there was the myriad of duty-free shopping before you arrived in the main departure lounge. There was a range of shops and restaurants around the edge of the lounge, with lots of seating in the middle. Not surprisingly, an economy ticket did not provide access to Virgin's award-winning Heathrow clubhouse. On the day I flew, Virgin operated 6 flights between London Heathrow and New York JFK, 4 on an Airbus A350 aircraft and 1 each on an Airbus A330-300 and a Boeing 787-9. It was soon time to leave the departure lounge and head to the gate, which was about a 10-minute walk away on the far pier. Terminal 3 is now the oldest of the terminals at London Heathrow, having opened as the Oceanic Terminal in 1961. It is the base for Virgin Atlantic and Delta, along with most Oneworld Airlines and Emirates. The day before my flight, the aircraft for the service was swapped from a larger Airbus A350-1000. The flight was now on an Airbus A330-300 aircraft, registration Golf Victor Romeo Alpha Yankee. Called Miss Sunshine, it was 13 years old. Economy passengers boarded in the last boarding groups 5 to 9. Boarding started at 6 p.m, soon after I arrived at the gate. Economy was located in the second half of the second cabin and the whole of the rear cabin of the aircraft. There were 185 seats in a 242 configuration. I was at the rear of the second cabin in window seat 46 kilo. The seat had a width of 17 inches and could recline up to 6 inches. It had a 4-way adjustable hammock-style headrest. The pitch between rows was 31 inches. On the seat were headphones, a pillow and blanket. There was an okay amount of legroom. Beside the seat was an armrest with a button to control the seat recline and a socket for the headphones. The armrest between seats could be raised. The overhead bins weren't that large. Fortunately, the flight wasn't that full, but at capacity, I think the last people to board might struggle to find space. In the back of the seat in front was an 8-inch entertainment monitor and a USB-A port. The cabin was starting to show its age, with fixtures below the seat a bit loose. Overhead were reading lights and individual air vents. Not part of the standard economy service, but I was soon offered a glass of fizz as a frequent flyer. The supervisor also asked if I wanted to move seat because I was right in front of one of the toilets. The aircraft doors closed at 6:40 with 131 passengers on board. With upper and premium full, there were just 52 passengers in the back.
Cabin crew, please prepare for a manual safety demonstration.
The crew gave a manual safety demonstration. Soon we were pushing back from the gate. We taxied across the airfield to take off from runway 27 right. We arrived at the runway at 7:17 p.m. As we take off, it's time to thank my supporters in the Doors to Automatic cabin crew. Just £4 per month gives you early access to reviews and other behind-the-scenes content. Head over to Patreon to join the cabin crew. The flight time from London to New York was scheduled to be just under 8 hours, but with favourable conditions we could expect a flight closer to 7 hours 20 minutes. I checked out the entertainment system. Pretty flimsy headphones were provided. The entertainment system included 122 new movies, 148 television series and 924 audio albums. Wi-Fi was also available at £21 for the entire flight. There were impressive download speeds of 56 megabits per second. The table folded down from the seat in front. There was a drinks service within 25 minutes of takeoff. If you're enjoying the review, please do subscribe for future videos. Soon the meal was served. There was a choice of 2 main courses, either a chicken breast or mushroom macaroni cheese. You could choose your preferred option online in advance, although unlike upper class, no additional choices were available to pre-order. The meal was served on a small tray. It comprised a small salad with mixed peppers and a bread roll. For main course, I chose the marinated chicken breast in tomato cream sauce with roasted potatoes and green beans. A paper napkin and cardboard cutlery were provided. The cutlery was flimsy and couldn't cope with the moisture of the dish. Cathedral City cheddar and Jacob's crackers were provided, alongside a salted caramel and chocolate pot. A can of nice red wine was provided. That's red wine from a company called Nice. Overall, the food was okay, and the chicken was fairly tasty, although a better cutlery solution was needed. After the meal, I was offered a mug of tea. There were 4 toilets for economy passengers, 2 just behind my seat and 2 at the rear of the aircraft. They were a standard small aircraft size. Unlike business class, nothing premium was offered, just soap and paper towels. A baby changing table folded down from the wall. Back in my seat, I checked out the sleeping options. A pretty flimsy pillow was provided, alongside a soft fleece blanket. The seat had a good recline and wasn't restricted by being the back row of the cabin. The return flight from London to New York in Economy Classic, the standard economy option, was £469, or just 6.8 pence per mile. After a bit of a snooze and a few episodes of White Lotus, it was time for the pre-arrival meal. This was what Virgin described as their signature mile-high tea. Tea and juice were offered, alongside a couple of sandwiches, a scone with cream and jam, and a chocolate truffle. It was a good snack. Soon the seatbelt signs were turned on as we prepared to land at JFK. We came into land on runway 04 right and then taxied across runway 04 left to a gate at Terminal 4. So what were my overall thoughts of the Virgin Economy experience? Although I've clocked up over 1 million miles with Virgin Atlantic, this was my first flight in a standard economy seat with no extra legroom. I thought the seat was fine. I did benefit from a low load factor with an empty space next to me and no one to recline in front, so my rucksack went under the neighbouring seat. Had my rucksack been under my seat, the legroom would have been pretty constrained. The seat was comfortable, but again the empty space meant I could sprawl a bit, using 2 tray tables, and with no seat reclining into my face. The proximity of the toilet was also not an issue. The entertainment system was okay. The A330-300 is Virgin's oldest aircraft, and the system showed its age. But these aircraft are already being replaced by newer A330-900 Neos. The Wi-Fi worked well throughout the flight. The meal service was fine, a good selection of food, but the eco-friendly cutlery really didn't work. Maybe bamboo would have been a better choice than cardboard. The service was really good. A combination of a low load factor and me having loyalty status meant nothing was too much trouble. For the price, I thought this was a very good flight. But what do you think? What is your experience of flying economy with Virgin Atlantic? Let me know in the comments. Next time I'm done with roughing it and I go back to the front of the plane as I fly Virgin Upper Class to Las Vegas. Will the service meet expectations? Subscribe now to find out. And now why not watch the first instalment of my epic round the world trip from earlier this summer?